10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, blast off! Hi, everybody.
Hi, everybody.
Hey,
Welcome
hey,
to
I was
A.M.O.K.
just thinking
You
of the
can't
music.
hear me.
I can hear you.
Yes, we can hear you.
We can hear you now.
Yeah.
We can only kind of hear Ken. So if Ken drops out, Shauna's gonna just repeat everything he said. I was thinking as the music was playing, it kind of reminded me of Jaws. I was expecting a shark to just come out and hit me. I like it.
Hey, I like our music.
I think it's
I
great.
love our music. It's great. Great.
I like the hands that come out.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
I
anyway,
want to update the
so much for
images
that.
though to more modern since we're already we're in our third season. I figured I could probably grab some clips of us and
Yeah.
No,
I have more hair now too, so yay.
yeah,
Modern AMOK.
a modern A.M.O.K with the same stuff, just updated images.
Fine. Speaking of updates, that's a perfect segue word.
That was great. That was a great segue.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. I'm gonna do the Vanna White thing now.
Ooh,
It's Pam's turn.
it is. And Pam remembered this week, so yay. That's always a good thing.
Woohoo!
Okay, so spring events that are coming up in Kansas in the next couple of weeks, and then a little bit further out. May 9th through 11th, we have the 27th annual Sunflower Balloon Fest from 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. It's a free event, and it's in Anthony, Kansas. Then May 30th, 31st, and June 1st, we have Pickin' on the Plains Bluegrass Festival. It's at the Thomas County Fairgrounds in Colby, Kansas. And tickets vary in price according to the date. So you can check out their website for more information on that. Kids 12 and under are free though. Saturday, June 14th, 7:45 p.m. to 2 a.m. in the morning at the Temple in Salina, Kansas. There is a paranormal investigation. It's for ages 18 and up, and it's 160,000 square feet.
Wow.
Building.
Wow.
Yeah, it's the Masonic Temple. And it is in Salina. I can't remember if I said that. So it will include classes on Investigating 101, communication with spirit using divination tools, and more. And then Investigating the Temple with Mike, Sam, and Erica. And you can use their equipment, and I'm sure you can bring your own as well. Make sure you bring a valid ID. And yeah, that should be fun. And then Saturday, June 21st, they're doing the Tween Teen Ghost Hunt at the McIntyre Villa again. And this one's with the mysterious Mike and Sam.
Serious.
The mysterious. And you can do, this one's under 18, but you have to have a parent or legal guardian with you. And it's for kids 12 to 17 years old, learn about ghost hunting with state-of-the-art equipment, and then they get to go on a hunt. I don't have the times in there. I can't remember. But you can go to Eventbrite, I think is what it's on. That one is. Or just go to McIntyre Villa and they'll bring you in the right direction. And then we have the Kansas City Ren Festival. It's Saturdays and Sundays. It's a little bit further out. It's August 30th through August 12th in 2025. But they will be open on Labor Day from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. And it is rain or shine, and you can find out more info on that at kcrenfest.com. And then the Kansas City Paracon's coming up in August 2nd and that'll be at the Leavenworth Masonic Lodge. And that one's sponsored by Apex Paranormal and Strange Paranormal. And I'm super excited about this one because Bordertown Paranormal will be vending there, promoting the Paracon and podcasts, and I'll be sure to be promoting A.M.O.K as well.
Woohoo!
Woohoo! And then Saturday, September 27th, it's the 7th annual Bordertown Paracon in Caney. And if you like us, come see us. We'll all four be there. We got lots of great speakers and vendors lined up, and it's free to the public, and it's for ages 12 and up.
What's that one all about?
All about, right? It's fun. And it's did I say it's in Caney? Yeah, I did.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, when you said something about the Masonic Hall being 160,000, I thought, because the way you said it, I thought, please don't say dollars. But you said,
right?
Because you hesitated and then you said square foot. I'm like,
Oh, did I?
Goodness.
It'd be a really quiet event otherwise.
I think so. All you need is one person to show up.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. It'd be very successful. It's a good point.
So
what do we got? What do we got tonight?
Who do we have tonight? Well, let me give a little story here real quick.
Uh-oh.
Nestled within the heart of Minnesota, about 100 miles northwest of Minneapolis, 100 miles southeast of Fargo, North Dakota, and about 250 miles south of Canada, we find the city of Sauk Center. I hope I pronounced that right. It is a town rich in history, and it is the boyhood home of Sinclair Lewis. Here is where we find the historic Palmer House, Hotel, Restaurant, and Pub. Sherry Johnson and Joy Klimke are our guests tonight, and they will share their stories and tales of this 120 plus year old historic site. Welcome, Sherry and Joy.
Yay!
Hi, guys. Hi.
I'll have you know. Yeah.
Great intro, Ken.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hear it?
We don't do intros. That's usually it's like we have these people. Here they are. Boom.
And it's like,
that's how we do it.
What do they do again? Where are they from?
And you pronounced Sauk Center perfectly.
Yep.
Nice.
Okay. Awesome.
Yep. Perfect.
Did I pronounce your names correctly?
Yep.
You know, Joy and Sherry.
Yep.
That's so hard to pronounce.
Well, sometimes. Anyway, welcome, you guys.
Welcome. Yes, definitely. So the Palmer House. It sounds like you do a little bit of everything there.
It is a restaurant, pub, hotel, cafe, ghosts.
Ghosts.
Yeah, a little bit of this, a little bit of that.
Yeah.
All right. So okay. So here's trying to plug the place a little bit. Tell people about it.
Tell us about,
Do you want to go? I'll go. You go. You go.
You can start.
We should have figured this out ahead of time.
She's good at
Putting right in, believe me. We are
right.
So
you're fitting.
Yeah, we run a tight ship here. Yeah.
I blew it already.
We sink. No, actually, you're perfect. We sink a lot.
Yeah, we do.
Good. Then we're in the right boat.
Yeah.
Yes.
The Palmer House was built in 1901 by Ralph and Christina Palmer. The original building that we think sat on this spot was the Sauk Center House, which had kind of a rough and tumble Wild West reputation. Some ladies of the evening, some drinking, some gambling, some who knows what went on. And when that burnt down, Sauk Center wasn't exactly disappointed. And they put an ad in the Minneapolis paper saying that if they could get somebody to build a reputable hotel, they would pay them $5,000. So,
wow,
yeah, big bucks back then. Ralph and Christina came up here, visited. They loved the area. We have Highway 71 going right by the building, which would have been like I-94 back in the day, which is a major highway. we had the train station, we had the river, so he knew if he built a reputable hotel up here, he could get the traveling salesman come and then get the townspeople to come. So yeah, and this is one of the few hotels that I think maybe the only hotel that they actually put their name on, and they lived in here for a while.
Oh,
So
cool.
Well, that's
it was
Wow.
the first one outside of Minneapolis to have electricity and running water.
So how was the
I
travel up
like
there? I
both of
mean,
those things.
Yeah, it's been awesome. Yeah,
were they able to travel by boat or have to be
there was a river,
trained?
the Sauk River, and then it was eventually dammed, and now they have Sauk Lake.
Okay.
Oh, cool.
Yep.
Okay. Very
And
cool.
then they started out with some 40 some rooms, one bathroom on each floor, so you had to share with everybody. It's been remodeled a couple of times, but now everybody has their own bathroom, so you don't have to share.
Yay.
But we-
Nice.
Questions. I get questions when people book rooms. Do we have
Oh.
our own bathroom? So I don't know if they've done a little history on it or what, but
Yeah.
I assure them, yes, you have your own bathroom.
Yep. And a couple
That's funny.
I did my history lesson this afternoon after you sent me the proper link. So,
After you sent me the proper link.
well, I had Vikings involved, so you know.
Wow. Wow.
But apparently that was wrong.
that's a Kensington
Good.
runestone. That's Alexandria. That's a whole nother story.
Oh, okay. Well, I was close. I know you got Lake Wobegon not too far from there. Is that true?
Well, the Wobegon Trail, the bike trail goes through here.
Oh, the trail. Okay, that's
Yep.
right. That's the name of a park.
Yep.
I missed that word. Sorry.
But Sinclair Lewis did work here. He got fired a couple of times because he was so busy writing books. But I guess that
So,
worked out
so,
okay.
so do you guys own the place? You just run the place? What is?
I just help with tours. I've been coming here for 20 years. This is my happy
Yeah.
place.
That's your happy place? So you do ghost
100%.
tours there.
Yep.
So
We
how'd you
both
come
do.
about that?
Pardon me? I didn't hear what you said.
He froze.
Adrian?
How do you come about doing that?
Yeah.
How do I feel about doing it? I love it.
How did you come
How did you
about
come?
doing it?
Oh, I was friends with Kelly, the owner, and they wanted somebody to help do tours. And so I said, sure. I've been a paranormal investigator for a little over 20 years. So it's always been something that I've enjoyed doing. I used to be on a team, but the team disbanded. So we would go to different places in people's houses. So I've always had an interest in it. So it just kind of, when she asked, I said, sure.
That's
Yeah.
cool.
So do you classify yourself as what I call a para-historian?
That's a good
That is a good
term. I
term.
like that.
Hmm.
That's what I do. I've been doing it for 20 years, and
Okay.
I merge both of them together along with architecture and just everything. So
Mhm.
Well, and that's one of the fun things about investigating is when you go to locations, you learn so much history that we were never taught in school.
Absolutely. That's the fun of it, is when you get to dig into the past and see exactly what's true and what isn't.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I enjoy that.
so do you include
So
the history as well?
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Yep.
We do like a little history, sit in the cafe first about the history of the Palmer House and how Sinclair worked here and all that, and then we go downstairs and do like a little mini investigation for like hour and a half, 2 hours.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So did you investigate the place before you they asked you to start doing the tours or
Yep.
or what? So
Yeah.
so you already knew the place was haunted.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So what
I-
kind of hauntings goes on there? What kind of tell us a little bit about what happens there?
We have a lot of shadows.
Yep. I saw my very first shadow person here in the basement.
Ooh, nice.
I've seen one or two since then. One was just back in October where I saw looked like a young male shadow come running out the hallway and go to the left, except there's a wall there.
Oh.
There's no place for him to go. We get EVPs, strange pictures.
A lot of whistle. I get a lot of whistles.
Yeah, whistling.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
There's a couple rooms where they like to spoon with you.
Oh,
Oh,
that's
no.
horrible.
We've had a ghost
Okay.
cat.
That's unsettling.
All right, which room?
Everybody who comes
Which
here,
room?
everybody wants to go downstairs because they think it's downstairs that's haunted, and it's not. It's the whole hotel.
Well,
I'm
yeah,
gonna
that makes
I'm gonna
sense.
stay in the one room all the time.
So do they favor women more than men, or men more than women, or?
I think we get more women than men.
Mm-hmm.
I think
Oh.
men are a lot more interested, but I don't think they'll always admit it.
I
We've got a few we've converted over.
Yeah.
I was
That's
violated.
was touched.
So the whistling, is it cat calls or just whistling? Like
No, just like I
just
can't
walking.
whistle, so it's just like a simple whistle.
So just like walking around like they're janitor
Yeah,
working or
like I mean,
something.
you're doing something in the bar here, and you're here alone, and all of a sudden you hear someone whistle, and you look around, and TV's not on, radio's not on, nothing's on. You just know it was someone in here.
Oh, it's audible. You're
It's
hearing it.
audible.
Like,
Yep.
okay.
Yeah.
so they're trying to
I
get
did
your
this one.
attention, kind of.
I did an investigation not too far from us, just on the Oklahoma side, and Tina was my wife. Tina, she was doing an interview with the client, and they're quiet, but there's just a conversation going on. I was going around the place doing just baseline reading and some pictures. But we were both running audio. She was running audio to capture the interview, and I was just running audio just because. And all the way through my audio, there was somebody with me whistling, and
Really?
Interesting.
it wasn't me because Tina would have called me names and told me to stop. But yeah, but none of us heard it, so
Yeah.
it only went on a playback. So that was just a
That is
side
cool.
note.
Oh,
But
I
you're
was
actually hearing this, so that's
Yeah.
unsettling if you think you're by yourself.
Yeah.
I did a tour of these young boys. One was 21, and I think the other five were all 18. So I was kind of nervous doing a tour with them, because I'm like, this is serious. We're not gonna joke around or anything. And they're like, oh no, we're serious. Don't worry. And I kind of spread them out in the basement so they're all sitting by themselves. And I told the last boy, he's 18, I said, if you need me, don't come running out. Just yell for me. And he's like, I'll just whistle. And I said, okay. So I'm sitting out in the main part of the room with a couple of the other boys. And all of a sudden we heard a whistle. So I went in by him and I said, oh, did you want me? And he's like, no, why? I said, well, didn't you just whistle? And he said, no, I thought that was one of the other kids. We all heard the whistle, but
Nice.
none of them whistled.
That's cool.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, and the last one I put in there, he was the only one that I talked to about whistling. The other ones are in the other part of the basement. They didn't even know what we were talking about.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, but everybody heard it.
Yeah, I've witnessed that before. I was investigating the Scottish Rite Cathedral here in St. Louis, and I'm down in the basement, huge place, and down there for about an hour, and for about 20 minutes, I kept hearing with my own ears somebody whistling down there, and everybody else was up on the 5th floor, and I'm in the basement. So I've got it captured it
Yeah.
on recorders and everything. But I finally got to the point where I said, "Are you trying to get my attention?" Then it stopped for a few minutes. Then it started right back up again.
It's like, oh, he heard me.
Yeah, that's pretty wild. That's pretty crazy. But yeah,
That's wild.
it's a neat feeling though when you start hearing stuff like that.
Yep.
Oh, it's a neat feeling when I hear anything.
Yeah.
I wear hearing aids. So
Oh,
whenever
yeah,
we go on
I've not-
investigation and everything, it's pretty awesome whenever I can hear stuff out loud.
Yeah. I've not heard too many out loud things, disembodied voices, whistles, or anything like that. So we did have one that there was a loud scream, and that the whole team's like, "What?" And we all responded because we thought somebody got injured or something, and there was nobody who screamed. So, but yeah, so it's wild when I guess if they're powerful enough to touch you, they should be powerful enough to make a noise. So
Yeah.
if they're gonna spoon with you, whistle in your ear.
Maybe it was just
So-
a cat. We have a ghost cat that, like,
Oh, cool. Yay.
Yep.
and dogs. The
Dogs too.
Palmer's used to raise
Oh.
hunting.
Mhm.
Y'all hear barking and stuff?
I have
just-
some on recording. Yeah.
Yep. I've heard barking.
That's
Or
awesome.
else, like, people on tour will feel like it's like when the dog rubs up against your legs or when a
Yeah.
cat rubs up against your legs.
Yep.
They
Yeah.
feel that.
And then when
Oh,
they're running
wow.
down the hallway, you can hear like when you hear the dog's toenails clicking on the
Oh,
cement floor.
Mhm.
We've
God,
heard
that's
that
my dog
before.
every night.
So how do you guys run your investigations or your tours? Is it during working hours, after working hours, weekends?
Right now, we do it every Saturday,
Every Saturday afternoon.
and they usually go on our events page on their webpage and book their tickets right there, or they come in and you can pay for them here too. Right now, we do it every Saturday. When it starts to get busier, like when you get to spooky season, that's when everybody wants to go to a haunted hotel.
Yep.
I
Yeah.
don't know why, because we're haunted all year round.
Yeah, it's more.
Yeah, they think
Well,
it's more haunted then. And then
that's just the way it is.
Then we start doing tours like Friday night and Saturday.
So how does the tours work with I mean, is the hotel uh in operation, the restaurant and all
Yep.
that stuff, is that all in operation?
Yep.
Yeah, and usually on Saturdays the cafe is closed when we're down in the basement, so you don't get any disruptions from the cafe because two of the rooms that we like to go into are under the cafe.
Oh,
And we make sure we try not to do it when we have music and stuff. So that's why we haven't been doing Friday nights, because we'll have music on Friday nights. And then
Yeah.
like when we do start getting busier, sometimes we'll do like a 7 p.m., a 3 to 5 and a 7 to 9. So
Yeah, I was
Okay.
wondering because you're trying to do an EVP session and somebody's over here at the table trying to eat a BLT.
Right.
That'd be kind of.
yeah,
Is there anybody here with us? He's like,
I
yeah.
would
Yeah.
in the future like to do it like midnight tours. I think that would be cool too.
yeah.
That would be neat.
And when we have paranormal events, they do overnights so that the whole hotel is shut down except for those people. Obviously, there's nobody eating and whatnot in the pub, but then they'll start investigating it like 9, 10 o'clock at night and go till 1 or 2 in the morning. So.
nice.
So do you really have to be concerned with a lot of contamination of evidence that is collected?
Not so much on the tours. We kind of call it a paranormal appetizer because we're just kind of down there. A lot of people, it's their first time they've ever done an investigation.
Okay.
So it's kind of nice explaining the equipment, doing it without equipment and with equipment, so they know both ways to do it. Because some people don't like to use equipment, but a lot of them like to see all the gadgets from TV. So
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So have
And I find myself as I'm getting older doing this, the less I rely on equipment.
Yeah.
I'm almost to the point where I've got all the evidence that I really care to capture. I want to experience stuff. So that's why I like
Yeah.
doing the places that are actually haunted, that you can rely on something happening. It's great because then you get to take people to introduce them into what you've experienced all along. So that's cool. If you're playing with the gadget, your attention's on the gadget.
Yep.
That's true.
Okay. So have you,
That's what you're getting ready to say something, Ken.
yeah. So have you guys actually investigated for activity for your own evidence capture? Have you done that on your own without?
I always say, like, I never had like one experience that got me into the paranormal. I was always that weird kid on the playground who liked ghosts.
Okay.
We all kind of know, it's all of us. And
Yeah.
I was always interested in the paranormal, like Scooby Doo, Unsolved Mysteries, the ghostly ones. That's what I was interested in. And then I came here for an event, and I fell in love with the place. And then I just always say, this is a great place to start investigating. We have people down here in the lobby at like 2, 3 in the morning investigating, while the hotel is sleeping. We encourage that. We have a kids' room up on 3rd floor that's active. I know a lot of people like to investigate in there. And I just think this is just a great place. My grandson, who's 8, loves to investigate. He's got his own equipment, and he loves to come investigate.
That's
That's so
awesome.
cool.
So it's a safe enough site to
Exactly.
that
If I
can
trust
bring
my
kids in.
grandson to go anywhere here and investigate, I have no worries.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I've been here long enough that I've kind of collected the evidence that I want for myself. I enjoy helping people that have never done it before have a good experience
Hmm.
first time, and try to encourage them to. There's more out there that we can't see, and it's all around us.
Yeah.
Just make space for
Absolutely.
it. Have an open mind.
Mhm.
So is
When you
most
talk
of the
about seeing shadow people, you said you've seen a couple of them. Were you by yourself or did you have a group with you?
The first time I saw a shadow person in the basement, I was with 4 other people, and he came out of one hallway and went down the other hallway, and I was like, "We're the only ones that are supposed to be down here." So I chased after him, thinking it was a person, and then I
And then you
got to
froze
the end
up.
of the hallway, and there's nobody there in the hallway, and I'm like, "There's nobody down there." So that was my first
Oh,
experience. That was, and then the other one, I was on a tour. I had about 12 or 13 people with me, and the shadow kid came out of that same hallway and then ran towards the corner. And so the only other shadow person I've seen was at Waverly. So two out
yeah.
of
Oh,
three,
wow.
Yeah,
two out of
I
three are
didn't
at the
see anything
Palmer.
at Waverly. I saw nothing at Waverly. Anyhow, when you're with a group, did the people with you, did they see that shadow person too?
A couple other people said they saw it. Yeah, because I
Yeah,
asked,
that's
I go,
cool.
"Is anybody watching the hallway?" They'll go, "Yeah, who was that?" And I'm like, "I don't know. Yay, I'm glad you saw it too."
You know, but that
Look at
happens.
me.
I call that hallway downstairs the highway
Yeah.
because it is so
Yeah.
active. And I know one night when I was coming out from putting someone down at the end of the hallway, because that's like the worst place to sit because you're open on all areas in the
Yeah.
pitch black. And when I came walking out, I had these 3 women, older women, that old enough, like I was surprised they took a paranormal tour. When I came walking out of the hallway, all 3 of those women just gasped. And I stopped and I was like, "What?" And they said, "You didn't feel that?" And I said, "What?" And they said, as soon as I walked out of the hallway, a shadow person came around the corner and walked down the hallway. They saw it after I walked out. So I didn't
Yeah.
see it, but all 3 of those women saw it together.
Oh, that's
That's
awesome.
cool.
Yeah,
isn't that a
Wow.
great feeling?
it is. And I'm
It
super
is.
excited for when the guests get to see it. That's what's exciting.
Yeah.
And when I
Well,
do
yeah,
the
they
tours,
paid to have something happen, and then I mean, you
exactly.
can't. They're not trained dancing monkeys. You can't.
Right.
You
Right.
know, okay, time to play, and
Yep.
they'll play. No,
We
you
explain to
just have
them,
to be at the right place at the right time.
we can't guarantee activity, but that's why I try to spread people out, and then we come together before we're done with the tour. Like we'll sit in one room, and I let everybody talk about their experience that they had, and everybody's so engaged in it. Everyone wants to hear their story.
Yep.
That's
So
awesome.
before we go lights on, we talk about what happened and what
Very
Okay.
cool.
experience they had in the basement.
So do you find most of the activity there to be intelligent or more so residual?
Even, I would say,
I
even.
would, for me, I would say more intelligent. I seem
Okay.
to get more responses and stuff. There are some like the
Mhm.
shadows that come out of the basement and go into the men's bathroom. That's a residual
Mhm.
from because that's where the maid's stairway comes out, and the men's bathroom used to be a hallway to the kitchen.
Mhm.
Oh.
So when I tell people to sit in the pub or sit in the on this little couch in the hallway and watch the men's bathroom, it's not to be weird. It's because you
Yeah.
might see a shadow go in there because it's a residual energy of a maid. So
Oh
I'm
my
just gonna hang out in the
God.
bathroom.
I
yeah,
I can just hear
you
the
can investigate the
comments.
men's bathroom, but not till the hotel's closed.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, that's funny.
That's awesome.
Yeah, because I
I
was
went
gonna
in the
say because
bathroom and I
yeah,
got touched.
Oh God.
uh,
Oh
stop,
Lord.
stop. It's a family show.
Okay, I'm
Okay.
sorry.
Oh my god. No, that's pretty. What about? So you got a lot of activity inside the building. What about outside on the grounds? Is it in a neighborhood or is there
It's on the
some?
corner of Main Street. It's Yeah, we got Highway 71 and Sinclair Lewis Avenue. We're right on the corner, so I've never tried to go outside in the evening and
I know
investigate.
there's like a couple bars down from us, and they talk about having activity also.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so it's like all the way down the street. They talk about the activity that they have also.
Huh.
Okay.
Yep.
One thing I think would be interesting to try, and Kelly and I just discovered this a couple months ago because I do find a grave
Yeah.
volunteer photography. And I was looking up to see what was in the cemetery down the street, and my app brought up a graveyard with one grave in it in the parking lot. So I've got some more research to do on that.
Oh wow.
In your
Interesting.
Yeah,
parking lot?
yeah, one grave in the parking lot. There's
Wow.
nothing
Strange as
marking it,
that.
and it's kind of where our parking lot and then the alley is, and then there's a building behind us. So I've got some more research to do to figure out what the
Yeah,
heck that
that's
is.
crazy.
Yeah.
Usually, Find a Grave's pretty accurate when it comes to the
Yeah.
cemeteries, so that's interesting.
I would try to go out there with a pair of dowsing rods, a couple of people, and just walk
Yeah.
the area and see if you get
Yeah.
them to cross, and then check for running water to make sure there's no running water where they do cross. That's a good way to find them.
That's a good
Right.
idea.
Yeah.
I was
I
looking
have
for
dowsing rods. So.
yeah, I was looking for some graveyards, cemeteries, and such up in Indiana when I was up there a couple years ago driving around, and I finally came to the one spot, and I'm looking out there going, "There's no graveyard here. It's in the middle of a cornfield."
Oh my
Which
God.
it could have
Wow.
been there, but who
Mm-hmm.
knows at that point? But I never could find that cemetery.
That's wild.
So yeah, they're all over the place.
Interesting.
I've only done an investigation at a cemetery one time, and wasn't really what I wanted to do. But my story is I got into the paranormal because of a creature encounter, and the story at the cemetery was there was a creature that hung by this cemetery. That's where he was at. So we went out there specifically to see this if there's a creature out there. And everybody else is all creeped out because I guess cemeteries are creepy, but it didn't bother me at all, and we didn't have any experience. And all I could think of is I think we're trespassing. Oh, we need to get out of here.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely be careful.
I'd be more
Yeah.
worried about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, getting
Yeah.
in trouble because you
Getting
didn't ask.
arrested. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I work at a library, so we rely pretty heavily on Find a Grave and things like that. And we actually came across an interesting one the other day where we were looking into the poor farms in the county. And I found a 1910 survey, and it was telling us where one was in Chautauqua County, which is like next door to us. And there's only one headstone in the cemetery to it anymore. And it says that the person that's buried there, he purchased it from the poor farm, and he removed all the other headstones except for his.
Oh wow.
And we were just
wow.
like,
What an egotistical douche nozzle.
well, apparently they didn't have names on them. They were just rock markers, but still, those were markers.
Those were markers
Yeah.
for somebody
I mean, he didn't move the bodies. He just took the,
Did he
you know,
not
that's
that we know of.
poltergeist. Yeah,
Well,
that's
now's
poltergeist. That's how that movie goes right there. You don't do
Right?
that.
your well, now's your
Hey, we got a
challenge.
question from the chat. Kevin
now-
Swanson. He said, could the guest talk about some of the rooms at the hotel, a few rooms of individuals associated with particular rooms?
Nice.
Good question.
Okay.
Honestly, we have certain rooms that people want, like, Lucy or Annie, Raymond, and like a lot of people want like Lucy's room because Ghost Adventures was here and that's where Zach Bagans was. And honestly, I believe more of the unpopular rooms, you have just as much activity, because everyone calls to book a room and they're like, oh, I want your most haunted room. And I explain to them, we don't lock them in a room and say, okay, you go to room 13 tonight. That's not how it works. So I
That'd be
can't
great,
guarantee
though, wouldn't it?
your activity. But a lot of, my daughter's been in 14 and she loves 14 and she's had some great experiences in there. And it's just a little economy room that nobody ever wants.
Huh.
Yeah,
Wow.
some of the lore behind the rooms, just from people constantly getting the same names from different groups, different evidence. Supposedly Lucy, like Joy said, is in 17, and she may have worked at the Sock Center house, or was a lady of the evening, which is the legend behind her. 22, the legend for that one is supposedly Raymond, who was in charge of the girls back then, and he and Lucy may or may have not had a thing. Joy mentioned Annie, who was the typical long lost love, waiting for her man to come back kind
Yeah.
of thing. It's kind of funny how the stories repeat for hotels.
Yeah.
Because I see
Kind
that.
of like Crybaby Bridge.
Yeah.
There's
I
like
do,
a
but
Crybaby Bridge.
I just had a guest in here a couple weeks ago, a woman and her husband, and she said she stayed in room 11, Annie's room. And as soon as they got in the room, the husband went to take a shower. So she was laying on the bed, just looking at her phone, and literally coming from like the door area, came in, walked past her, looked at her down on the bed, and then turned and walked out the window. Yeah, full-fledged apparition. Looked at her and then turned and walked out the window. And I said, well, I wonder if it's like from the Sock Center house, because the Sock Center house had it like a second balcony up on top too. So I was wondering if she was from then.
Yeah, that makes more sense. That's wild.
Yeah.
It'd still be mildly disconcerting.
Yeah, for sure.
Hey, you be in this room, you got to pay for half of it.
But I love it when guests come back and they just tell you of the experiences that they have, and usually they're the ones who don't expect it. They don't expect anything to happen, and then they have the holy rail of stuff happen.
That's awesome.
That's a perfect segue, because I always tell people when I used to give tours, don't expect anything.
Exactly.
And the reason being is if you expect, you're using one sense.
Yeah.
Let everything just go and don't care, and that's when things really start happening, or that you start noticing it more.
Yeah.
So very cool.
We have people come in and they're like, oh my God, we're going to do this and we're going to do this, and we're going to have all these ghosts come to us. And I just look at them like, you're not going to have nothing happen. You're expecting way too much. You're way too excited.
Yeah.
You want everything to happen right now. And I said, you're not going to have anything happen, because that's not how it works.
No.
Right.
To remind people to pay attention to the subtle things too, because they want this big grandiose gesture from a ghost who probably is going to use all of their energy to move their TV remote a half an inch.
Yeah.
But they think they're going to turn the fan on or turn on the air conditioning or slam a door. And it's like, pay attention to the little things. When you leave your room, ask them to move something, but pay attention where you set it. And when you go back up, see if it's moved, because if they're doing these little things, because that's all that energy that they have for you, and you're not acknowledging it, they're going to say, well, to heck with you, and they're going to leave.
Let's see if you can tell the paranormal investigators from just people that want an adrenaline rush and see if ghosts are real. Because
honestly, they're waiting for this apparition to walk up to them and say, hey, how you doing?
Yeah. How you doing?
It's not going to happen.
How you doing? What's up?
Oh, the same thing I said about the same thing I'll talk about with people paying so much attention to their equipment. They're paying attention to their equipment. They can miss all this stuff going around all around.
Absolutely.
So we've been at places where we've had more experiences after the investigation or before the investigation than during the investigation, because you're so hyper focused during an investigation. So we tend to go a little lower key now than we used to, but that's the reason why, because it's best to just because you can't really tell what's going on unless you experience what's going on. So at least I can't. I'm not woo woo at all. So I can only go by what I witness, what I experience. Yeah. And anything that I experience, anybody else could experience too. So.
And honestly,
how many times are you guys woo woo?
Honestly, how many times does something that's going to happen? Does it happen in front of a camera or in front of your equipment? It's usually off where the equipment or the camera isn't.
Yeah.
It seems like.
And I try to tell, it's okay to be skeptical, but don't be so skeptical to the point that you shut yourself down or you shut the experience down.
Yeah.
Have an open mind, and then just kind of, put your skepticism to it, but also see what you I don't know, try to
Be
merge
open to
the
the
two.
experience for sure.
We've had that, like probably like girlfriends drag their boyfriends on a tour, you know, and like on my tour, the girls are all excited, you know, and the boyfriends are like, well, it just shoots down the whole energy of the whole tour, you know. It's like I wouldn't want to come out either and talk to you if you were acting like you didn't want to be around me.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah, for sure.
I try to tell them, you know, hey guys, come on, let's just have a good time here, you know.
Not to be a jerk ghost. That's the person I'd go after.
Why energy and energy, you know, if you got negative energy in the room.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
Well, and I try to encourage them to be interactive and not just to sit there and just stare and nobody talks. You ask a question and then it's crickets. So I always tell them, I said, you guys can either start interacting and try asking equipment, or we're going to do the hokey pokey in the dark. So
exactly.
I've made people get up and do the hokey pokey in the basement. And what's really funny is when we do that and they all kind of lighten up and the energy goes into the atmosphere, then stuff starts happening.
Fun, yeah.
Like you guys, we just put all this
good
energy
point.
into the atmosphere for them to use it to interact with us. So,
Absolutely.
Hokey pokey.
Good.
So both of you have been in the. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
go ahead. I was going to say, try the hokey pokey in the dark sometime.
I was gonna ask if both of you have been in paranormal investigating for a while, or just you, Sherry.
I've been 20 years. I don't know how.
Ever since about 7 years, I've been interested in all my life. After I started coming here, and
Oh, that's funny. I ask him a question and everything starts freezing.
Come
Question is,
back.
do they know
We'll be
if they're
back.
uploaded?
It'll be all right.
Wow, this whole time I ask if they've been in the paranormal, and this is what happens.
Yeah.
It's an interesting point, though. You know, they're talking about doing the hokey pokey and lightening the mood. That does make a huge difference.
Oh, we
Go
lost
into
them.
it.
Oh no, they'll be back.
Yep, they'll be back.
Sounds
But,
like a fascinating place.
It does. I would really love to venture out there and take a gander at it. I got a lot
Not
of
anything
work
else, get a
people
room.
saying.
There they
Go
are.
ahead.
Yeah.
Okay.
What happened? All of a sudden it said it was sinking.
Oh no! Well, I thought it was weird that I'm sitting there asking how long you guys have been interested in the paranormal, and then all of a sudden it's like, nope, we don't want you to say anything.
Well, don't ask it again. No.
I've been
But
in
answer it though.
like I said, 20 years. Dave Schrader was my first experience of actually finding other people that liked the same thing I did. And I was like, I found my tribe. These are my people. They're all weird like me.
He's pretty weird.
It's good to be weird.
It is good.
I know it. I get it. I'm not weird at all. So
No, Adrian's not weird at all. Not at all.
Not at all.
No.
Hey, Adrian, were we able to get a couple of those things, those pieces of evidence that we could share?
Oh, yeah.
Were you able to do that? Do you guys want to
Well,
talk about those?
I was asking you about that because I was wondering if it, like, because Adrian asked earlier, y'all, I don't think y'all heard him, asked if any of you guys were woo-woo. Y'all see spirits, talk to spirits.
Oh, yeah, you're psychic, you're empathic.
I kind of get intuition things, and I'll just sometimes blurt out stuff or hand somebody a piece of equipment.
I blurt out stuff all the time.
Yeah, he does.
I don't. My wife doesn't call it intuitive. She has a different word for that.
I'm not. I don't think I believe. I'm not at all. But the more you're here, the more they know you here.
Yeah.
So like you can walk into an area and you're like, oh, hi, you know, because you can feel them here.
Yep.
And the more you're here, the more they know you, the more comfortable they are with you. So they'll come around you more often, which I think is why it's good that me and Sherry do the tours, because they know us downstairs.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely. I get that.
I could tell it was really quiet on the tour one night, and I could feel this guy standing behind me. I knew he was, and I got the feeling of like he was shy or scared, and he was just standing right behind. And mentally, I'm telling him, I know you're here. Please go to someone else. They're here to see you. They're here to feel you or hear you. And mentally, I'm doing this. And this guy sitting across from me is like, Joy, there's a shadow standing right behind you.
Nice.
Yeah, good.
I know he is. He's shy. He's scared. And I keep telling him mentally to go to someone else because you guys are here to see him. So
Yeah.
I was, but I think because he knew me, that's why he was standing by me.
Yep. You were
Mhm.
All
safe.
right, we got.
Yeah,
I was
it's like a
so
safe
involved
spot.
in the conversation, I didn't. It's like I forgot about the thing that was sent. So I got two pictures here, and I don't know which one I'm going to show first. I'm going to show this one first. What am I looking at?
Okay, so this is what one of the smaller rooms, the vent room down in the basement. We don't get to go in there that often because it's small. We also call this the tall man's room, and that's me sitting away from the entire group underneath that orange light. There's no red light in that room, and I was hearing somebody in the room across the hallway saying, "Come on, look at me. You know you want to see stuff. Look at me, look at me." And I'm like having this argument in my head that you're not from the Palmer house and I'm not going to look at you. So you need to leave because you're not going to be aggressive. And all of a sudden I could feel somebody patting my back between my shoulder blades. So I told the group, hurry up and take a picture because I'm freezing and somebody's touching my back. So you can see my shadow under that orange light, which there's no orange light in that room either. There's no red lights in that room. And you can see the shadow coming from the doorway touching me. The white blob is just a lady's phone. She didn't flip it over.
Yeah.
But yeah, so something's reaching in from the doorway, touching me.
Wow.
Yeah,
It
you
was
can kind of
taken in
see
the black,
that.
though.
Yeah, it was pitch black
It was
room.
pitch black where they took the picture.
And there's no reason
So
for there
where-
to be a red light.
Yeah, where the red light came from, we don't know.
That's pretty
Wow.
wild.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was
Huh.
quite the experience. I was having an argument in my head of you're not from the Palmer house, and he was just being very aggressive. And I'm like, I reject you. I'm not feeding into it. So
Good for you. Put your foot
Yeah.
down.
What about
I mean,
what's going on
sometimes
here?
you have to.
yeah. So this is what happened right after that. That's
Oh,
me walking.
boy.
That's me walking down the hallway to turn the lights on, and one of the tour guests was taking a picture of her friend peeking out of the snowman room. And then she caught this tall shadow on the left-hand side following me down the hallway.
Oh,
Wow.
yeah.
It looks like he's wearing like a white shirt with jeans.
Well, and he's kind of translucent, but he has a top
Yeah.
hat on,
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
you
he's
can
like
see
8 feet tall.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Yeah, so I that's the tall man. I think he was the one patting me on the back saying, "Don't worry about it. I'm not going to let this other spirit mess with you." To me, he's very protective. I I think he was protecting me from whatever came with somebody else.
That's
Nice.
cool.
That's kind of
Yeah.
cool.
You
That's my
said
favorite.
you said something about would you say the snowman room?
Yes, we have a haunted snowman.
Is that
He
what,
likes to
is
move.
that what we're getting ready? We're getting ready to watch that right now.
Yeah, there's a little clip.
And
Wow.
Oh.
his head is turning.
Yeah,
it-
he doesn't
it's
have
not-
he
it's not-
doesn't have a power pack. He doesn't have a cord. He can't move on his own, but unless he wants to.
Seriously.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That is.
Oh my
Wow.
goodness.
Wow.
He
That's
has
really
his own room in
cool.
the basement, and he only gets to come up at Christmas time. And so that room off to the side is his room, and we take the groups in there, and then we all go sit with the snowman, and he'll set off the cat balls and stuff like that.
And many guests have checked him for battery pack or plug-in or
Yeah.
anything, and he does nothing. He has nothing. I'm like, you can
Wow.
it's
That is
fine.
so cool.
Well,
Somebody really loves that snowman.
Yeah.
if
Ah.
he's
I always make sure to give him a hug because I have a selfie that I took with him, and you can see him in the background, and he looks very angry because I was taking it from the doorway and not.
Oh no, not with him.
I always thank him for letting us join him, and I give him a hug at the end of every tour. So.
Mm-hmm.
well, when you're hiding, for a whole year, and you finally get up to that room, he's got to look around to see what's changed.
Right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had one tour about a year and a half ago where we were in that small room that we showed earlier, and all of a sudden we heard this scraping noise. And so when we got done there, we were going out to look around, and the snowman had actually turned from facing the doorway. It had turned all the way to the right and was facing the room that we were in. So it was his base that was scraping as he was turning.
Oh
Mm-hmm.
my goodness.
That's crazy.
Wow.
That's cool. That is
Excuse
very
you,
cool.
sir.
That moment you're looking for a battery pack and a snowman, and it turns a whisper.
That would be
down
awesome.
That would be that. Yeah, not much scares me, but that'd probably make me poop.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, if you hear well, I'm not gonna say that.
First you say it, then you do it.
Yep.
Ah.
So what you're saying is, if you smell ghost food, um, that was Adrian.
Oh
So,
my goodness.
so have you had? I'm sorry, not you, but has the hotel seen or have they had many famous guests that have stayed there? You know, famous people or well
Uh,
known.
I
Maybe I
know
shouldn't say
Lauren
famous.
Green.
Well
Or
known people.
infamous.
the infamous Lauren Green. Yep.
Really,
Lauren
Oh,
Green
Lauren
from
was
Green.
here.
Bonanza?
Yeah.
Yep.
How cool.
Yep.
Like I said, Sinclair Lewis worked here several times and was fired several times. He was the night desk clerk, and he wasn't getting his
Wow.
stuff done. Um, what is the
I can't.
cowboy's name? There was a cowboy that used to rob banks. Cole Younger. Cole
Yes.
Younger used to stay here.
Wow.
Really?
Yep. And then he was in southern Minnesota and apparently almost got caught robbing another bank and was kicked out of the state. So yeah, there's a picture of a politician that came through on a train back in like probably the 30s. I don't know his name off the top of my head.
Well, that's kind of cool though. So I mean, it's a well-known place, and you say people used to come there. I guess at that time from from Minneapolis, that was the countryside. So like
Hmm.
summer homes or vacation areas. Is that pretty much what it was used for at
Uh,
the time?
it was Fort Sauk Center originally. So like one of the buildings across the street, apparently during a conflict between the settlers and one of the Native American tribes here. They have musket ball shots in one of the brick buildings across the street.
Uh-huh.
They've painted some murals now, so I don't know that you can see them anymore. But it did start out as Fort Sauk Center. So
Wow.
now I mean, I don't know if there's really resort homes or vacation homes around here. It's
Mhm.
just pretty much a central Minnesota city on I-94.
Well, I mean, with the hotel there, that's what I meant. I mean, they built a hotel. So
Yeah.
what would be the impetus for people to come and stay there? Is it just travelers?
Probably travelers in the railroad and on the riverboat. Like I said, 71 it goes all the way from Canada all the way down to Louisiana.
Yeah.
So there would have been a lot of traffic there.
Okay,
And then whatever 94 would have been back in the day.
okay,
So kind of a crossroads. There's a saying that Sauk Center is the center of Minnesota.
okay.
Cool.
From what I could see, I think I mentioned that a little bit ago. That was kind of a central part of Minnesota,
Yep.
the
Hmm.
heart of Minnesota. I think I said.
Yep.
The
There we
heart.
go. That's a good one.
There you go. So it sounds like you guys got a pretty cool place up there. And what is it? How can people get a hold of you, or how can they make reservations? As I saw as the prices, they were really reasonable. I guess the other thing is, can you rent the whole place if you wanted to get a group up there or something?
You can call 320-351-9100.
Good job.
I'm surprised. I was really worried there for a second.
Yeah, we don't book online simply because there's so many people that call and request a certain room. Or we have people that want to stay in every single room each trip they come. So it's just impossible for us to do online booking. It's just a lot easier to call and you can book your room that way.
You can go on the website to view what the different rooms are, which one are the economy rooms, which one have jacuzzis. There's some rooms, like rooms 1, 2, and
Jacuzzis.
yeah, we got jacuzzi. You got to come up and meet the
I know.
snowman.
Right.
Like rooms 1, 2, and 3 were actually where the Palmers lived in the hotel. So those rooms are connected. So if you have like a family that's coming up, or maybe a group of, 5, 6 people, you can get those connecting rooms. Some rooms have 2 beds in them. Some have king, some queens. Um, yeah, there's like 20 rooms,
19.
19 rooms. That's right, 19 rooms.
Yep, 19 rooms.
Wow.
So
Cool.
do they give like a group rate for a whole place? Can you let's say you've got 20
We haven't
people
done a
or
rate for the whole hotel yet. That's something that we're kind of working on still.
Because people have asked. Yeah, people
Yeah.
have asked. So we're working on that. But I mean, there's tons of events that go on here. Dave Schrader does a lot of events here. He's actually coming back in August again with Shane Pittman and Cindy Kaza.
okay.
Cool.
Yep.
And
And I know there's only like a handful of tickets left for that.
Yeah, Wraith Chasers is coming
Raid
up.
Chasers are coming in June.
Ah, Wraith Chasers. Yeah.
Paranormal is here in 2 weeks,
Yeah,
I think.
I think the
Yep.
end of May. The
End of May.
Yeah,
What day is it today?
I know. We have no idea what day it is
I
today.
don't know what day it is today.
But I mean, just about every month we have like an event planned, and Dave Schrader is really the one who started the events here,
Yeah.
and he brings in a lot of people, and they just keep coming back. Then
We've had Ghost Stories Inc. up here a few times to do events here. And what's fun with theirs is they would do creative writing and art in the basement. So you would go downstairs and kind of find a little corner to sit in and do whatever creative writing came to your mind, or draw a picture of whatever would come into your head. And then everybody would get together after. So that's kind of a different
I
thing.
love
than
that.
investigation.
That's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah,
That
That
is.
sounds. Say that sounds weird to me.
you're weird.
Why?
I guess that's the skeptic in me. I'm like, I'll be there.
Well, you
you
can
gotta
wander,
try it sometime, though.
Yep.
well, you can wander
Yeah.
around and interview people,
You can go hang out
Yeah.
with us
There you go.
right.
or sit up at the bar.
I'd be at the pub. Exactly right.
If you've got like double
I
bacon,
might be at the pub with you though.
You can check the spirits in the pub.
Yep.
Alright.
Oh, well, there's a fireplace in the pub too, so you can cozy up to the fireplace.
there you go.
Sweet.
I,
Well, I love pubs, so
pubs.
You got them thinking now.
Yeah.
No, I'm thinking about grabbing a bottle and sitting next to the snowman.
Right.
Bring him a cold one, right?
Yep. And then there's breakfast, raspberry fritter French toast and eggs Benedict. I mean,
Oh.
we've got it all.
Yeah.
My
There
God.
you go.
Kevin Miller.
When are we planning this, Ken? When are we going?
We're gonna work on that. So
Okay.
We'll work on it.
we'll work on that, guys.
Yeah.
All right.
I've got their numbers. So
Sweet.
Okay.
Yay.
One more time for everybody. One last time. How would they get in contact with the best way to get in contact with you guys to set up investigations or to join your Saturday things? One more time.
Thing.
If you go to www.thepalmerhousehotel.com is the website. We have our events on there. We do have a Facebook page also that we list all of our events on. And if you call, it's 320-351-9100.
Nice.
She said the phone number easier than she said the website.
Hey, it happens.
Yeah.
It does happen.
Little fun
Hey, I
side.
want you guys to hang around. Don't go away, but I'm going to throw you back to the green room. We're going to talk about it next week, and then we're going to talk to you again. Okay?
All right.
Thanks.
Don't leave us.
Thank you.
All right. What are we? Oh, wait a minute. Thank you again for joining us. Bye. Good luck.
Don't go anywhere.
I think I need a nap.
Minnesota, long goodbye.
Bye. Anyhow,
My
what do we got?
goodness.
What do we got? It's my week next week. So I
It's
gotta
your
keep-
week next week, and that
And-
is
and we're doing
Russell Reynolds.
Russell Reynolds. Now, who is he? He's
Yes.
the founder of Beyond Life Paranormal Research.
He, well, the Warrens.
And he does
Oh, yeah, that's right. I was like, I know that
Yeah.
name.
He
That's right.
is related to them. So we're going to find out some more information on that and what got him into the paranormal.
All
So
right.
he's
right
the
on.
brother.
cool.
He's the brother of the son of their cousin or something like that.
Something like that.
The brother of the son of
Of their cousin.
twice removed.
Twice
No.
removed, that's right.
No.
Okay.
No, that'd be cool. That'd
Sorry,
be cool.
if Russell, if you're watching, I'm sorry. I will meet you next week.
He was on
Yeah.
Tom's
Well-
show a while back. He's
He
really
was on my
nice.
show. Very, very interesting
nice.
dude. He is really nice.
All right, that's cool. That sounds
Yep.
like a good show. I like getting to meet new people. That's cool. Well, that's what we do, right?
Yeah.
That's what,
Kind of our thing.
that's our
All
job.
That
right.
is kind of our
Yeah,
thing.
it's our job.
It's our
All right,
job.
That's
everybody.
right.
I'm gonna do it.
Thanks for hanging out with us.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye,
Good night, guys.
y'all.
See you next week.